How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Boruto manga. Today we're covering Chapter 54, in which Borushiki has emerged once again, and it's up to Kawaki and Sasuke to stop him. So, how was the chapter? Anyways, before I get onto the review, I just want to say if you like this type of content, and you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Anyways, let's get on to that chapter review. The chapter begins and we get the sad revelation that Sasuke indeed lost his Rinnegan eye. That was Momoshiki's goal because he did that so that there was no escape for them. Because Sasuke could use his space-time ninjutsu to escape everyone. And well, Borushiki over here, Momoshiki, took it out so that Sasuke has no way of escaping. And the only way they can escape now is through Boruto's karma now. So as Sasuke observed, it looks like Boruto, all of his injuries that he had when he was facing off against Ishiki earlier, including his broken wrist, were completely restored and completely healed. Now this seems to correlate back to, I think, Chapter 30, when Boruto and Kawaki were sparring, and Boruto got injured and then his hand started healing automatically. So it seems to correlate to that, but back then it was a lot slower. It's kind of crazy now that Boruto's at about 80% of the Otsutsuki transformation, or transfer with Momoshiki. It would seem that his healing process has sped up quite a bit, and it's probably more so thanks to Momoshiki emerging, but yeah. And you know Kishimoto is back when we get flashbacks. And there's quite a few flashbacks in this chapter, actually. Like, back to, I think, Chapter 34 or 35, when Boruto and Kawaki were talking about defeating Jigen and the rest of Kara. And Kawaki's over here trying to snap Momoshiki out of it, or snap Boruto, excuse me, out of his possession. But Momoshiki kind of mocks him. He's like, well, you've been freed. Because Ishiki is gone. We get confirmation, full-on confirmation that Ishiki is indeed dead. So Kawaki tries to wake Boruto up to no avail as Momoshiki continues to mock him. So Kawaki goes in for the attack. Kawaki immediately uses Wood Style to try and attack Boruto, or Borushiki I should say. Borushiki dodges it, jumps above Kawaki, lands on him, and stabs him in the back with a kunai. But it turns out, as Momoshiki says here, he's like, oh, good, it's just as I hoped. It seems that the extraction process has progressed quite far, which means it should work. What is Momoshiki referring to here? Well, since the extraction process with Kawaki is about as far along as Boruto's was, at about 80% complete, this means that Kawaki is essentially mostly Otsutsuki now. Kind of crazy. So, it seems like Ishiki's plan to feed Boruto to the Ten Tails, it seems like we're reversing it now. And now Momoshiki, through Boruto, wants to feed Kawaki to the Ten Tails, so it will bear a chakra fruit. And I have to say, the panel here for Ten Tails looks a lot better than the previous panel for Ten Tails. I don't know, something that I thought was interesting looking at the panel with the Ten Tails in this chapter. Looks a lot more frightening, not gonna lie. And while all of this is going on, Naruto is absolutely helpless to do anything, and unfortunately, due to the side effects of using Baryon mode, he ends up passing out, and he remarks that he feels like lead. So yeah, that doesn't bode well for Naruto. More on him later. So as Kawaki continues to face off against Borushiki, Sasuke steps in and tries to cut Borushiki in half. But Borushiki responds by taking out his kunai and manages to block Sasuke's sword. But Sasuke applies the lightning style to his sword and manages to shock Borushiki. Which Sasuke is surprised here that he didn't use karma to try and absorb the attack. Momoshiki questions why Sasuke would attack his favorite student. But we get another flashback, thanks to Kishimoto, in which to the scene where Boruto and Sasuke were talking about how Sasuke would kill Boruto if he had to in order to not only save the world, but save Boruto from himself, or from Momoshiki. So, Sasuke intends on going through with that, as he uses Atamarasu to try and burn Borushiki or Boruto, in order to defeat Momoshiki once and for all. In which at the last second, Borushiki uses a Shadow Clone in order to take the damage, and manages to get away. Sasuke realizes that he can't use too much more chakra because he's expended a ton at this point, so instead of using Atamarasu again, he just uses a Fire Style Jutsu, in which, again, Boruto, or Borushiki, evades it and doesn't try to absorb it. Interesting. Now, the conversation between Kawaki and Sasuke was pretty interesting, in which Sasuke deduces that the reason why Borushiki is invading a lot of attacks, like the lightning style attack and the fire style attack, is because he can't absorb it, because if he does and he gains back some chakra, it will cause Boruto to wake up. So they have to come up with a plan to restore Boruto's chakra in some way. So at first Kawaki is a little bit doubtful here, but since Boruto here, Borushiki, is invading a lot of his attacks, he's come to this conclusion, and Borushiki is hiding currently and realizes that Sasuke has figured everything out and why he's avoiding direct attacks. And even Borushiki notes that even though he could probably take Sasuke on, he's definitely not going to, come out of it unharmed, and it could, hinder him in his process to try and steal Kawaki and feed him to the Ten Tails. Now, as Sasuke and Kawaki are coming up with a strategy to deal with Borushiki, Borushiki actually comes up with a brilliant idea to deal with Sasuke, in which he uses Boruto's Vanishing Rasengan and hits Sasuke right in the vital. Not strong enough to kill him, but enough to do some pretty bad damage to Sasuke, and it pretty much takes him down. And I can see some people being pretty upset about this, considering how disrespected Sasuke has been in this entire battle between Naruto, Sasuke, Ishiki, and now Borushiki. So I can see some people being a little upset about this. Now, as Kawaki is struggling against Borushiki, as Borushiki's pretty much got him down, Kawaki's having some flashbacks, including Boruto calling him his brother, and also Vase-kun. Can't forget about Vase-kun. So, yep, definitely Kishimoto is involved in the writing here if all these flashbacks are coming one after another in this chapter. Now, as Borushiki attempts to take Kawaki using space-time ninjutsu with his karma, Kawaki does something very desperate, in which he uses fire style on himself and basically lights himself ablaze. Is basically burning himself alive, which shocks Borushiki. And Borushiki not wanting to lose Kawaki, because he's pretty much the only thing that we can use at this point in order to feed to the Ten Tails. So he uses his karma to absorb the fire style attack on Kawaki. And Kawaki passes out after obviously burning himself alive. As Borushiki at this point, he had no choice but to save Kawaki. So he has to move fast before Boruto wakes up. And not too long later, Boruto wakes up in the other eye and realizes what's going on. Momoshiki tries to get him to fall back asleep, and they're kind of going through a little bit of a struggle here, kind of reminding me a little bit of Howl Ichigo a little bit here in this scene coming up. But anyways, Boruto's struggling with Momoshiki, and Momoshiki's trying to take Kawaki using space-time ninjutsu, and Boruto is resisting, and what Boruto does is he grabs the horn on his head and breaks it off, which causes Momoshiki's consciousness to finally recede. As Boruto basically falls to the ground, I like this moment between Boruto and Kawaki, in which, I know we had the scene earlier where Boruto calls Kawaki his brother, in which I like it here where Boruto's like, sorry to be trouble, and then Kawaki's response is, back at you, stupid bro. I don't know, I thought that was a pretty nice scene. However, the chapter comes to an end with another cliffhanger in which Sasuke goes up to look at Naruto, and he literally says, what the? No way. So, is Naruto dead or in a coma? I guess we'll find out when chapter 55 hits on February 19th. So I'm not going to lie, guys, when I first saw the spoilers for this chapter, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed, and I thought certain parts of this chapter felt a bit anticlimactic. And obviously this was out full context. So I was a little disappointed, but I wanted to wait for the full chapter release before I fully judge it. And I have to say, I was dead wrong, because this was a fantastic chapter overall. I mean, obviously there are some concerns. I mean, I know that some people are probably going to complain about Boruto and his struggle with Momoshiki having similarities to Ichigo and his inner hollow. I get the feeling that some people are going to compare the two to one another, but, oh well, it's shown, and there's going to be some things that are going to be similar to one another, and there are similar tropes here and there. But overall, I thought this was a fantastic chapter, and a pretty, for the most part, good conclusion to the whole conflict that's been going on for the last, 6 months in the Boruto manga. So I'm pretty sure we're towards the end of the Kawaki arc, and we're heading in probably into the time skip coming up pretty soon. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening as we go back to the village, and whether Naruto is dead or alive. Who knows? Now the question is, where's the story going to go from here? For example, are they going to do something with Code coming up, because that guy is still hanging out with the Ten Tails, I have a feeling that he could potentially do something in the near future, or potentially in the time skip. There's also Delta, who's currently incapacitated, so not really sure if she's going to be returning anytime soon, if ever, because I don't know if that sleep function that Amado put on her is, permanent or something that only he can reactivate. Not really sure. Also, Kashin Koji, I'm wondering if he's going to be making an appearance in the near future, because he's been out of commission for a little while now since his battle with Ishiki way back when. So I'm just curious as to see what we're going to be doing next. Like, where is the story going from here? Like, I was a little concerned after last month's chapter, but I'm kind of interested to see where the story goes from here, and whether, certain things are going on, like certain characters are going to be involved. What about Naruto? What about Boruto, considering his issue with Momoshiki? Is this going to be something that the 5 Kage are going to object to? With Naruto out of commission, Shikamaru has to step up, and he's potentially going to be the one that has to make decisions on Naruto's behalf. So I'm just really curious to see where the story is going to go from here. I think there's a lot of potential moving forward. So guys, that's all I got for the chapter review. So overall, I thought chapter 54 was a great chapter. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So guys, in the comment section down below, post your thoughts. I'm actually curious. I'm going to do something a little different here. So in the comment section down below, I want you to tell me if you think Naruto is actually dead, or is just in a coma or something like that. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. Anyways, post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you're new to the channel. I'll talk to you all later. You have a great day or night wherever you're at, and I'll see you all later. Peace.